Welcome to the Newsa-Cast YouTube channel. These Red Smith Banquet throwbacks are exclusive interviews of sports legends, powerful media personalities, and influential coaches. You won't find these anywhere else. Subscribe below and enjoy. Happy Sunday, folks. It's Red Smith Banquet throwback time. We've got a good one this week. NBA executive, most known for the instrumental work he did in putting together those Shaq-led Orlando Magic teams. Folks, I want to just take 1 second to remind you to hit that subscribe button down there. That would really help us out a lot. And also, don't forget the Newsa-Cast every Thursday, wherever you get your podcasts. But in the meantime, enjoy your coffee and enjoy Pat Williams at the Red Smith Banquet.
Thank you, Chuck. And it is indeed a sincere privilege to take a moment or two just to introduce you to our Shield Sports Nice Guy Award winner. Pat Williams is a renowned sports executive, a motivational speaker, an author, and a man considered to be the ultimate optimist. He spent 7 years in the United States Army. You may have noticed he stepped up a little earlier. A number of years in one of his real true loves, baseball. Years with the Phillies and the Twins, and then he landed the GM position with the Chicago Bulls. Now think back to the late 1960s, Chicago. They didn't want anything to do with an NBA franchise. The facilities were awful. Teams were crummy. Attendance was awful. Pat came in and helped to turn it around, making the franchise valuable in just a few short years. So think about that, no basketball in Chicago. Starting guard for the Portland Trail Blazers, Michael Jordan. So let's fast forward to the 80s. He's with an Orlando businessman to attempt to bring the NBA to mid-Florida. And think about that. No way. Golf crazy. Football crazy. Disney crazy. But the mistake there was telling Pat that he couldn't do it. Years later, Orlando did host an NBA Finals, an all-star weekend. And in my assessment, did the right thing in telling Dwight Howard, thanks, but nice to know you. Then there's his amazing family. He and his wife Ruth are the parents of 19 children, 14 of which are adopted from 4 different countries. And at one time, there were 16 of them teenagers at the same time. Dad, can I have the keys? Pat has authored 70 books, completed 40 plus marathons now, climbed Mount Rainier, hosts weekly radio shows, helps charities, and enjoys Major League Fantasy Baseball camps. And recently, by the way, Pat was awarded a very prestigious award, the John W. Bunn Lifetime Achievement Award by the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. And now we're talking John Wooden, Pat Summitt, Red Auerbach. Finally, Pat is also a cancer survivor. He often speaks with doctors, nurses, even cancer patients, encouraging them to keep up the fight, continue to achieve, and to dream. He has told his doctor that he has 5 big advantages in fighting this disease: family, faith, attitude, fitness, and a great professional network of colleagues and business associates. And we are so privileged to have him here with us tonight. The 2013 Red Smith Shield Sports Nice Guy Award winner, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pat Williams.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Thank you. It's nice to receive a plaque that my dentist will approve of. I'm awed by the size of this crowd. I'm also awed by the length of the evening. I trust your kidneys are all healthy, you know. My suit has gone in and out of fashion 3 times already tonight. And I ran into a guy out by the restroom, and I said, he was leaving. I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to go get a haircut." I said, "Why didn't you get it before the banquet?" He said, "I didn't need one then." So, but we've had a marvelous evening, a wonderful meal. I didn't realize until tonight that Black & Decker made pork chops. You know, but I'm glad to be here. I didn't think I was going to make it. I had an old football injury flare up over the weekend. I got it moving my television set, helping the Packers get better field position. And but I had a marvelous trip to Green Bay today, and Mark, the head honcho, just gave us a whole inside look. It was wonderful, and the state is suffering. I mean, you live and die with your Packers, but I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and I grew up a great Philadelphia Eagles fan. And boy, you talk about suffering. Oh, my. And poor Andy Reid is gone, one of yours. He was asked why he left. He said, well, illness and fatigue. He said, the fans are sick and tired of me, and so he... But the coaches there that remain, they've been in the film room trying to figure out what went wrong this year in Philadelphia. They finally figured it out that they were tipping their plays. Every time they'd break out of the huddle, 3 of the backs were giggling and 1 was white as a sheet. And so... But they've solved it. They earlier this week, they signed a free agent fullback, 5'4", 140 pounds. That's the exact size hole the offensive line opens up, and so they think that... By the way, are the Marquette fans here tonight? Are there some Good, good. I'll tell these jokes a little slower, okay? And all the way in the back, I mean, can you hear back there? Can everybody hear back there? Good. I've been speaking before more dead mics than an Irish undertaker, and I just want to make sure that... And it was something watching the Eagles this year. They would use their running game to set up their punting game. It was really quite interesting. I always wanted to play football, but I had a severe handicap that prevented me. I was born with a neck, and so I turned to baseball. I played at Wake Forest. I was a catcher, and boy, I wanted to play pro ball really, really badly, Goose, which I ended up doing. In the one club bidding for my services, the Phillies signed me. Never will forget it, going to the old ballpark, Connie Mack Stadium, 21st and Lehigh, and the Phillies gave me $500 to sign and $400 a month, said they were going to send me to their farm club in Miami, and Bob Carpenter, the owner of the team, sat me down. He said, "Now, Pat, I don't want you to say one word to anybody about the financial terms of this contract." And I said, "Mr. Carpenter, that'll be easy because I'm just as ashamed of it as you are." And so So off I went to Miami, and Goose, I know exactly what you're talking about, just the thrill of putting on that uniform. And Andy Simonek, the old Phillies catcher, was our manager, and I never will forget my first day in uniform, and I came down that tunnel and out onto the field, and whoa, what a moment. And Andy came over, and he said, "Pat, are you nervous?" I said, "Skip, no, I'm not." He said, "Well, let me just remind you that in pro ball, we wear the underwear under the uniform," he said. The only claim to fame I ever had as a professional baseball player, I was Ferguson Jenkins' first catcher in organized baseball. The Phillies had signed this young guy out of Chatham, Ontario, a future Hall of Famer, and it seemed that every night it was my turn to catch. Fergie was going to pitch. I think he lost one game that year in the Florida State League. He was just outstanding as an 18-year-old pitcher. And he lost this one game. I was behind the plate, and it was a rather typical evening for me. There were 4 or 5 stolen bases and 5 or 6 pass balls. And a writer went up to him after the game and said, "Fergie, who's the toughest man for you to pitch to in the Florida State League?" And when he said, "My catcher, Williams," I knew I was in the twilight of a very mediocre playing career, and the Phillies threw a coat and tie in my direction, and a long front office career was launched. I do want to just tell you for 1 minute about my trip up to Green Bay today. I've so often heard about Lambeau Field and the tremendous Packer following, and it was a real treat. Mark showed us every nook and cranny, and I've been thinking about that all afternoon, the greatness of those Packard teams and this incredible devotion of fans throughout the United States. But as I really reflected on all that I saw up there and the great players and the historic coaches, at the end of the day, I came away convinced that really it was all about teamwork. That no matter how great these individuals were and all the retired numbers and all the Hall of Famers in Canton, at the end of the day, really the true emphasis is on teamwork. And I am convinced that no matter what field we are in, we can do anything when we're linked together. I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Extreme Dreams Depend on Teams. And that's what I sense here in Appleton. That there is a real sense of teamwork, that you're joined at the hip, locked in at the shoulders, and really pulling together in every facet of life here in Appleton. That's my sense, and I think a lot of it triggers from what you have grown up with watching these great Packer teams. So I think it would be appropriate, and you probably all need a little stretch, and I need you to join me in unison. Swen Nader. Do you remember Swen Nader, the longtime NBA center, played with the Bucks for a while? He is a poet. I call him the Poet Laureate of America. And knowing of my interest in putting teams together and what you can accomplish as teammates, he wrote a little poem for me. And I need your help. I will be the pastor doing the reciting here. I will lead with the sentence, and then you all join me. 1,500 voices in unison. We got to stand up. You got to stretch your lungs out, okay? Do you understand what we're going to do here? All right. Let's blow the roof off this place, Appleton. Are you ready? I have awed at a solo performance. All right, now you understand. Now you're warmed up. Let's go. You ready? Now let's do it. I have awed at a solo performance. And spectacular flashy display. But I crave for the best. And my eyes are more blessed when an unselfish team makes a play. A play that's so perfect and simple. With the weaving of roll with a roll. Every piece partly seen. Like a fine-tuned machine. And you notice not one but the whole. Like an orchestra tuned to perfection, where harmonious beauty is found. Every note has a quest to be part of the rest. So the whole is a masterpiece sound. Every wild one, once blinded by glory, is now cured and is one of the tame. She receives her esteem as a part of the team and is eager to sacrifice fame. It's amazing what teams have accomplished. It's astounding how much they have done when the ultimate call is when one is for all and the credit is reached for by none. Go get him, Appleton.
Please subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you get notified when we post another great episode or interview. Download the podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for your support.